listen to what we tell you. We know what we're doing. Right, Melody?
Absolutely. And, Bob, I tell them all the time, they have a choice now. They have a selection. And you know what? When things are falling and you're looking to put those fiat dollars into another currency like gold, you're not going to have a choice. You might end up having to buy things that you particularly don't want. So you have a choice now. You have the option. And that's why it is so important now. You know, instead of waiting to see if gold's going to go back down, and everybody's talking about the big number, the 1,030. And what do you think it's going to do when it hits 1,030? Is it going to pull back down? And I don't care if it does. I doubt if these coin prices are. Just today, I went to buy 1061 Liberties early this morning. And he says, there's about a few-day wait on them. And he says they're just tough to get. And this is why you're seeing these increases. But they're flowing enough that increases these prices, and this is what they're seeing. So,
nothing's coming in from Europe.
No.
They're buying them over there. They're buying anything they can get their hands on because they can see what's coming. And Americans are not even in the market.
No.
It's just the paucity of products. And, the Swiss banks probably got American numismatic coins over there. But the Swiss and everybody else has bought them. I mean, this is going to be giant. I mean, how many times do we have to hit people over the head with a club to make them understand? And we've already made people fortunes. Well, I want to make them 5 times fortune. And the reason why is because you listen to the program and you've got the success of the American dream in your heart. And no matter what happens, if you retain your wealth and maybe even make some, you'll be able to make that dream come true not only for yourself but other people. We're facing very tough times. Very tough times. From here on out, it's a minimum of 8 to 10 years. And that's if we don't have a revolution. It is going to be terrible. You've got to go out and get your coins and get rid of that money that you owe on your credit card. You've got to get a water filter, freeze-dried and dehydrated foods, and you've got to be able to defend your family. This is not going to be nice. So do it.
And I also want to make, when I cleaned away my email, someone had sent me information, and I told somebody I would bring it to the program on Friday, but it might be Monday before I can bring it to the program, is the information about the solar power generator. So if they can resend that information so I can put it out. If not, I'll have to go back and see if I can't find it in the old emails that were deleted. So Deborah has a question. She saw an interview with Simon Johnson, who used to be with the IMF and now is a professor at MIT. He was talking about how Congress is in the power of the big banks and how changes need to be done. Joan Dion has stated that she believes the special drawing right is the planned world currency. Could this be PR to make the IMF look like the good guys to further their global currency agenda?
Yeah, it could be, but SDRs are not a currency. SDRs are not a monetary unit. SDRs are credits which are traded between countries. And it's always been their dream to try to use something like that, but they'd have to change it from what it is to something else. I think they're going to go for a world currency. That's what I think. And I think they're going to be unsuccessful. And they're not going to be too happy about that. But, I'm not speaking of the situation only in the United States. I'm speaking about the situation in countries throughout the world. I mean, supposing you lived in Russia, where they've had 5 devaluations in about a month, or in Mexico, where the peso just went from 10.5 to $1 to 14.63 this morning. I mean, these people are taking a rap. That means the goods coming in from the United States into Russia or Mexico are going to cost considerably more. And so some bad stuff going on, and you've got to get ready.
This question is in from Tony. we talk about this not too often, but it is a good question, and I've asked this question a couple of times. What happened to all that PMI insurance everybody was paying when they took out the crazy loans? Did the banks get paid?
I think what happened in most cases was that the insurance was never put into place. There was no insurance. And they did that in order to allow the party to qualify. And I noticed today that AMBI has split its books, and it's got a bad set of books and a good set of books, if you can believe that.
Like government.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is so insane, it can't work. They know it, and they're happy with that because they want everything to go down so they can enslave us. But if you get gold, and you get a method of staying alive, they're going to have some serious problems.
If the dollar is going to be, this isn't from Jamie, if the dollar is going to be devalued and people will have to exchange $10 old dollars for one, will the government bother with having people turn in change?
Yes. Yes, they will. The change as well as the paper money will have to be turned in. My guess is the whole operation will take less than a month. Let's say that they made an announcement on August the 1st. By the 30th or 31st of the month, it would be over. And if you had any of the old currency that you didn't turn in, you're stuck with it.
She also has a question about, she has about 25% of her precious metals portfolio in gold numismatic coins. She wants to know if this is too high and what percentage do we recommend. I usually recommend 70% of your portfolio in gold be gold numismatic coins and 30% in gold bullion. It depends on the individual. It depends on what's suitable for you. I mean, you're looking at these types of increases. You do need to have some bullion. And so that's what we do. We take a look at each person, what you're looking to invest in the market, how much you have in the market, how much silver you have. You have about 80% gold and 20% silver. And these are rule of thumb. It changes with each person's individual investment objective. Would you like to add that?
No, I think you covered that quite well. It's perfect. But then again, that's to be expected.
Of course. We should change it from the financial show to the perfect
gold's
show.
up $19. Uh-oh.
This question is about the Mexican-U.S. corridor, which will travel through Kansas City. She hasn't heard too much about this.
That's because they stopped it.
She wants to know if the railroads will benefit.
No, not at all. The private corporations that build the lines along the right-of-ways are the ones that make all the profit, and they're all aluminum companies. I mean, you didn't think they were going to throw any crumbs to the public, did you? And most of those corporations are foreign corporations that are involved. The whole thing stinks. I mean, it's disastrous. And but they haven't stopped, at least for the time being.
I heard Governor Rendell on television this morning. He's all excited about the stimulus and how, he's going to be able to build, fix the bridges and so forth, and that it's going to employ 40 to 45,000 is not a whole lot of people in the state of Pennsylvania. But not only that, these are already employees that would have been laid off by PennDOT. And wouldn't that apply to every other state? I mean, you're going to be having road construction. You already have your state highway system that would bring people back.
You're absolutely right.
So how many,
the program's too widely dispersed. They should have front-ended the program if they're going to do anything like that at all. And it's not going to work anyway. But they should have front-ended it by giving every family $5,000 in cash and said, either pay off some bills or go out and spend it. And we prefer that you go out and spend it. And that's the end of that. I mean, 71% of the economy right now is consumerism. So there's your answer. Now, they didn't want to do that. They used it politically. That's why they spread it out So that a lot of this creation of jobs will and good things that they can talk about will happen before the next congressional election. You got to figure all those things in. I mean, these people are criminals.
Yeah.
Almost all of them should be in jail. I mean, look at we've just seen lately. 3 appointees had to refuse because they were breaking the law. I don't happen to agree with the law that they broke, but that doesn't make any difference because they're public figures. They're not supposed to do that, which is break that law. And they did it anyway. They don't care. And it goes on all the time.
It also states that you also think about Mexico as an okay country for Americans to go for retirement. Do you think that the areas in Baja or